Alrighty, don't mind me. I just got out of watching the Minecraft movie and, well, I'm crafting a better script for the film. Get it? Because they craft things in the movie, so might as well craft a better screenplay. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and I'm excited to give you my non-spoiler review for the Minecraft movie. Or is it called a Minecraft movie? I have no idea, honestly. It's a Minecraft movie, but I had the chance to see this early for review earlier this week. Thanks, Warner Brothers, for hooking it up. And if you wanted my fresh out of theater reaction, I dropped that video on Sunday as well. But today, I'm giving you my full-fledged thoughts and why this movie, as it sits with me, just gets a little bit worse and worse. But hey, before we get into it, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies, TV, and all the news in between. So if you don't want to miss out, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on that bell, and let me know in the comments if you're a Minecraft player, and when you see this movie, did it do you justice in the game justice? I wonder, did it actually work for gamers? Because I'm a non-gamer. I don't really have a huge history with Minecraft other than I know it's difficult and there's this scary zombie video on the internet. Other than that, I know nothing. But what I do know about is a Minecraft movie. It releases in theaters April 4th and it's directed by Garett Hess, who also directed Nacho Libre and Napoleon Dynamite. The film stars an ensemble cast led by Jack Black, who plays Steve, Jason Momoa, who plays Garrett, the garbage man Garrison, Danielle Brooks, who plays Dawn, Sebastian Hansen, who plays Henry, and Emma Myers, who plays Henry's sister, Natalie. And then the rest of the film, yeah, it has, of course, real actors, but the majority of the VFX, you find that in the overworld, which is the Minecraft world, and the Nether, which is also part of the Minecraft world. It's like two worlds in one universe. But the movie itself, the story, see, the trailers looked fun to me, but then, you know, when you just dive into the story here, it's not so fun. But let me give you a little summary without spoiling anything. A Minecraft movie is about four misfits who are suddenly pulled through a mysterious portal that links into a bizarre wonderland called the Overworld, and it thrives on imagination. Now, to get back home, they'll have to master this world while embarking on a quest with an unexpected expert crafter by the name of Henry. I mean, of course, in the trailers you see it. But the film itself, I feel like, just kind of was not starting off hot even before I sat down in my seat, because there's 5 screenwriters attached to this movie. And when there's more than 2, you better be worried for a film. But then I did a little bit of an about face because I thought, oh my gosh, the VFX don't look terrible in the trailers, and Weta FX is responsible for a majority of the VFX work, and that's the studio that worked on the Lord of the Rings trilogy and so many others. So this is pretty dope, all right? Now, again, I don't know much about Minecraft, but as a non-gamer in the Minecraft world, this movie was a big mess. But I don't want to start off on a not optimistic note. I'm not trying to be a pessimist. Let's start off with my positives, because for as much of a mess this movie is, there were some okay takeaways. And it really starts with what we just talked about, the visual effects. If it wasn't for Weta FX, I think this movie would have been even worse than it was, but the film itself really thrives on making sure the VFX is going to be able to capture the imagination of a younger demographic. But even as an adult, I thought, man, this is pretty impressive. I love how the overworld looked, and even the Nether, for as generic as it was, but the piglins looked cool, the sheep looked awesome, there was a actual pig with a crown on its head, and apparently that's like a cameo of a gamer in this universe, but I thought everything looked very sleek. Now granted, there were a lot of green screen moments with our live action actors, but all that aside, I thought everything looked very clean. I didn't see anything that was like, oh, this is bad VFX work. No, it was pretty impressive on the big screen, so it has that going for it at the very least. And at times when it comes to the humor, because again, this is still a comedy, well, I chuckled sometimes, so not every joke was terrible, and I know that sounds like a backhanded compliment now that I say it out loud, but most of the laughs didn't work for me. Like, those punchlines were just awful. But I will say, in the beginning of the movie, the first 30 minutes or so, there were a couple of jokes where I thought, oh, okay, that was kind of funny, you know, I laughed a little, but I gotta dive more into that in the negatives before we get there. The third positive I have here is, among our cast, there's really no standout in my opinion, which is a problem. But if there's one actor that I could say, okay, maybe they're giving a little bit of a different approach here, it's not so generic, it would probably be Emma Myers' performance as Henry's sister, Natalie. There's just so much more they could have dove into there with the big sister, little brother mentality. I just don't understand why they didn't do that. But Emma Myers, she at least had some moments, Gosh, I'm trying really hard here, guys. And I don't want to continue to try too much harder to give any more praise to the movie because that's where the positives stop. It's time now for the negatives. Alrighty, y'all. Open that popcorn up. It's about to be a little bit of a movie here because I'm going in. A Minecraft movie is a complete mess. The film itself feels as if they got all the screenwriters in the room and their assistants and their assistants and said, who knows anything about Minecraft? You get out. You don't? Alrighty, bring it in. Because there were several kids around me that were saying, oh, well, this character is missing this, or this doesn't look like it does in the game. And it felt like, okay, from that, I can glean that this isn't a very faithful adaptation to the Minecraft universe, and that's probably not a good thing, especially for a movie that really is adapting a video game that doesn't have much of a story. I mean, characters can be created in the game, and of course, there is a story, but it's not a story that would maybe work for a feature-length film. So I was even baffled by the concept of this being turned into a movie, but then I thought, okay, maybe they can work with it and massage a little bit of what makes the game good and what makes a good story for a film. Well, that didn't happen. And what stinks is that this movie sells itself as a very kid-friendly comedy, but it's not funny. There's just a lot of jokes that fell completely flat, and there was a stretch in the middle of the movie where I didn't hear hardly anyone laughing in the theater. And that's probably not a good thing, you guys. No, the theater wasn't blaringly loud, and the speakers weren't, of course, too loud to the point where I couldn't hear laughter. It was just no one was laughing. There were jokes that Jason Momoa would make with Jack Black. And I kid you not, people were just sitting back. And I literally just shook my head, and I'm thinking that this is the best that they could have come up with, honestly. And what stinks is that there were a lot of butt jokes. And after a while, I thought, okay, I think your demographic that you're catering to is smarter than this. And there were two kids sitting next to me, and a teenager to my left. And they were making the butt jokes. The first one got some laughs. And then the 6 or 7 or 10 others after that, these kids were not laughing. So what are we doing? Are they in touch with the demographic they're even trying to cater to? And to add on to that point, there were so many scenes where it felt like they were literally not in tune with trends. So there's a moment where Jack Black is fighting these zombies, right? And as he's kicking some butt, they play a song, and the needle drop is absolutely horrendous. It's a song I don't like personally, but was very popular on TikTok and social media. It is 2023's Lil Boo Thing by Paul Russell. You guys remember that song? I'm not singing it. I won't do it. But that was used, and I groaned because I thought, this movie's coming out in April 2025, and you're using a 2-year-old song that was very much I don't know, in my opinion, it was being used sometimes as a joke as well. I don't know. You're mocking your audience here, I think. And nobody was getting into it. Kids weren't moving. Families. I was looking around, scanning around. No one's really bobbing their head. So it was weird. And then there's the writing for our characters. The character development here is practically non-existent. And there's no semblance of drama that's built up. Every time we get a scene where it's Henry and Natalie sharing a tender moment, or maybe a moment of tension between the two siblings, the film quickly cuts away from it, transitions to what is supposed to be a funny scene, and it's not, or we get a cut to Jennifer Coolidge's character, Vice Principal Marlene, I believe is the character, courting and dining with a villager. That one date felt like an eternity. They just kept cutting to that, and I kept thinking, who's in charge of the storytelling here? Because none of this is flowing and it doesn't fit. So our characters are really undercut, and unfortunately, that also means our actors are given bad material to work with. Our entire cast, in my opinion, is underutilized, and the talent is completely wasted. Danielle Brooks is one that comes to mind here. She's an awesome actress, and I liked her work that she's done previous to this, proving that she is funny. But in this movie, boy, it's almost like they said, Danielle Brooks, we'll hire you for this, but we're going to give you the bare minimum, and the jokes are going to be awful. and I'm not saying this to anger anybody, but it does feel like she was hired and they said, well, we got one woman of color. And I'm like, come on, bro, really? Like, give her more material, give her more substance to work with. Instead, that did not happen. Sebastian Hansen plays Henry, and this is a kid whose imagination is almost suffocated by the town he lives in the film. So you would think, all right, there's some potential here. But the movie never gives him a proper build-up, and there are times where when they do have this like hero moment with him, it just doesn't work. It completely, and I think it misses the point, if I had to even guess, because the kid is supposed to be at this point, you know, someone who's mature. Like, this world has changed him, but it doesn't feel like that. And that's because they rushed through all of the character development moments. And that's the problem here. There's really nothing here for him to work with. And his co-star, Emma Myers, who, like I said, you know, I liked her performance, I think, the most. Still, those moments between them just totally skirted by. And then you're probably thinking, well, what about Jack Black? What about Jason Momoa? What about them? I'm sorry, like, do I like them as actors? Yeah. And do I think Jack Black did a good job voicing Bowser in Super Mario Brothers, the movie? Absolutely. But here, he's just playing himself again. He plays a character named Steve, and it's just the bare minimum in terms of character development. That is the biggest common denominator here for the issues in this movie, is that these characters, I just don't care about them. And Jason Momoa playing the garbage man Garrett or whatever, dude, like, I don't know what's worse, the writing for his character or his wig. It's just really not working for me at all. Unfortunately, the entire cast is wasted, but again, how much can you expect them to deliver with material like this? And even though the movie comes in at around like an hour and 40 minutes, it doesn't overstay its welcome by any means. The story itself, there was really nothing to look forward to. It was very boring, and I hate to use that word, but there were no layers to it. Not that I was expecting a huge layered story in a Minecraft movie, but give us something, right? But instead, they gave us nothing. The writing room was either, again, filled with people who understood the game and then their voices were squandered, or people who didn't understand the game and thought, you know what, we know what the kids are like. Hey, cool dudes, cool dudettes. I know what y'all want in a movie like this. Bad needle drops and really poor character development, but we've got chicken jockeys and meme potential. Come on, man. And I think at this point, it's okay to say that children who are going to movie theaters are smarter than most studio executives think they are. So it does pain me to sit through this, and even pains me even more when the kids aren't laughing. They laughed at maybe 15% of the jokes here. And that's a lot of movie where you're not laughing. But yeah, I don't know. There were some applause moments. I mean, yeah, they liked some moments with the Garrison, I think. Again, I can't even remember his name because it's a forgettable character. But they like some of the Jason Momoa moments and some of the Jack Black moments. But where is the actual X factor in this movie? It doesn't have one. There is nothing here, guys. Absolutely nothing here that warrants you to get in your car, take your family to the theater, and sit in seats to watch it. Because the film itself is very much a half-baked idea for a video game adaptation. And then they threw the Minecraft name on it. Yeah, the animation is awesome, and I guess this is where we're getting into my overall thoughts, but yes, the animation is cool, and it's very well done. The VFX is nice, but I think where they went wrong is that they did not necessarily have a consistent tone. Too many screenwriters were on board, and the director, Hess, yeah, he can write and direct good comedy, but what happened? I think they just put his name on this. Again, it feels like one of those studio movies where they want to make money, right? Okay, I get it. Every movie wants to make money, but at what cost sometimes, you know? So I think opening weekend, it will make a lot of money, and especially because I just saw the news today on April Fool's Day, so who knows if it's true, but the Superman X account said they're going to have an extended preview for Superman, the James Gunn movie, and it'll be attached to Minecraft screenings. So go figure, that wasn't in ours. But I think that just added millions of more dollars to their box office revenue, at least opening weekend. So the film itself, it just adds up to be a huge misfire. It totally misses the point. It doesn't necessarily deliver at the end either. And then when the credits roll, they try to make everyone feel pretty good by adding in some mid-credit scenes, but those jokes even fell flat. So yeah, guys, the film is just a huge miss as an adult, and based on the kids' reception in our screening, a huge miss for them too. So yeah, I'll probably give this movie like a 1.5 star out of 5. I can't even give it 2. I thought I was going to give it 2 when I walked out, but then I sat down with the movie for another 24 hours and thought, nah, I can't do it, guys. So there you have it. That's my real review of Minecraft movie. Again, it really didn't work for me at all, but let me know in the comments when you see it if it did work for you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, tap on that bell, and like this video for more movie reviews just like this. Guys, there's a lot going on in the world of movies, right? We're getting into summer movie season, and that means so much more content, so much more news to dive into. Alrighty, well, that's all I got for a Minecraft movie. I had a prop I was going to use for this, the foam sword, but yeah, the movie's just, I don't even think it's good enough for me to bring that foam prop up, you know. I wish I could give them away. If I hear giveaways, I'll give. Forget it. Let's just end this thing. All right, love you guys. God bless y'all. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.